And good afternoon. Welcome back, everyone. Here's the Paraco countdown to green is going 2 minutes to go. Justin's getting in position there to wave the flag. And, well, we're getting in position here to bring you some great heat coverage. It's going to be 5 minutes plus 2 laps of all the classes we just covered here in qualifying. Welcome, everybody, to Kart Chaser for this Indy Karting Challenge, round number 9. There is no racing tomorrow for the Indy Karting Challenge. It's one day of hard action to see what you can do here as we make the run towards the end. It's myself, Brad, here in the booth with Jackson. Jackson, good afternoon. No, are you still in morning? You're West Coast, so it's
we're
like
20 minutes.
Not even 12
we're
o'clock
in
for
that
you
weird
yet.
part of the day for me where it's like technically noon, but not really. 11:40 for me here on the West Coast. So we'll call it afternoon. It doesn't feel like morning.
See, I hate that time of day because, like, in my normal job, when I have to email people and I email and I'm like, good morning. And then, or I type out, like, good afternoon. And I'm like, but it's not past 12 o'clock. Good morning. And I'm like, but it doesn't feel like morning. And they're not going to read this in the next 15 minutes.
To describe that.
Like, I feel like I want to just adapt an Australian introduction and say, good day, mate. Like, I don't know what to say to it.
There you go.
So, but I can tell you what I can say here is that we're in for some doggone good racing because we already had classes that were racing and qualifying. So, I mean, if they're going to battle in qualifying, I have a feeling that when we get down to it, when there's actual points on the line and we're paying some points here for championships, things are going to get wild.
So again, heats are progressive here. So you can think of this. I don't want you to think of this as a qualifying session, but we still got to set the table for the 10-minute and 2-lap final coming up a little bit later. So we'll do that with 5-minute and 2-lap heats. It'll be the micro and minis up first, followed by our 3206 classes, the mediums, juniors, and legends. And then we'll end with some KA action when the seniors come out on track. 10-minute break, and we'll do it time for some multi-class action. And if kart racing is chapter 1 for the motorsport driver's adventure, I guess micro and mini Swift is, well, technically kid kart is, I guess, page 1. Maybe mini and micro is page 2 and 3. But it's some of the earliest stuff you'll see in the book. And here's how they'll line up here. Casey Hendrickson on pole. Casey Hendrickson on pole alongside Blake Martinez, Lead Salmonellic, Christopher Heinz in, Diesel Maxwell over Patrick McKinley. First 4 on the front are all minis, back to our micro. So it'll be a duel out back and a 4-kart battle for the win in micro, or in mini, excuse me.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to watch here because the one thing I will also point out here is that our 2 micros of McNeely and Diesel Maxwell, they are teammates. Again, they are part of the AMAX racing team. So, I mean, if they're going to be running through, going through, they're the only 2 micros they're going to be racing together. It's going to be interesting to see how they go with each other. We saw that this morning in 206s. So I'll be excited to sort of see how that plays out here going through today, keeping an eye on things as it stands, waiting to see the karts get out here on track. Plenty of good battles to come all the way through. And again, the points are to play all the way through for micro and mini Swift. Blake Martinez currently leads the points in mini Swift, and in micro Swift, either Diesel or Patrick, depending on whom finishes ahead of whom, will take over the points lead and second place ahead of James Fox, who is not here this weekend, but has had a great season so far. Unfortunate to not see James Fox here in round 9. So that will relegate the top 2 in points out for Diesel Maxwell and Patrick McNeely for the taking. It's just a matter of, again, who gets it and who doesn't. We'll find out here momentarily. So, something I do want to point out here with the starting grid, we talked about it a lot this morning, but if you're just joining us for the afternoon, you may not be aware of it. So, one, we're running a clockwise layout of Indy, of the K1 circuit here at Whiteland. We're running, it's called the 73R layout, is what I have. So, it is slightly different. Your start line is right there before the first hairpin on the backstretch, technically. Your start finish line is around where you traditionally see it at the hook in front of the main building there on the front stretch. What makes that so interesting is that your race start is into an immediate 180 hairpin that then switches back to a
Right.
180 hairpin. So we've seen some wild race starts here. And Jackson, I'm curious to see how Micro Mini handle that today.
Again, I think if you're on the outside, it's not going to be game over, and you've got a disadvantage because it goes back and forth so much, and that outside quickly becomes the inside. So it's going to be very interesting to see as we get the first heat underway here in just a minute for the minis and micros, what that is going to look like. And again, for the first time this season, we're turning right, which feels a little bit weird, but we're going to see how these minis and micros do it. These guys are always so eager to get going, but they've done a great job at checking up. And we're going to see the green flag here for the mini micro heat. Good start for Kaysen on the inside immediately. Single file, big peek to the inside there as Simon Nellick in the green helmet tries to snatch that spot from Heinzen in the 757. He's got it in already. Martinez and Hendrickson trying to break away.
Yeah, Heinzen is immediately on a game of catch-up here, going through as he is trying to find his way forward here. Simonelik with a great move down the inside early. Hendrickson trying to run away with it, and I would argue is running away with it very quickly here as Blake Martinez in P2 is going to be trying to catch up. Everybody comes through here, what I'm used to calling turn 10, as Justin gets on his scooter, gets back to the finish line, and we go down into the hairpins for the first time at pace, going through deep on the brakes. Everyone goes, but it is a clean run all the way through as McNeely and Maxwell kind of settle themselves out. They are battling it out for the micro class, but here in the minis, top four continue along as they come through forward. They continue to try to battle it out and go through. Field spread is starting here, but again, this is a very, very quick heat, so all these drivers are going to be thinking about just getting away as quick as possible. This is a 5-minute plus 2-lap heat, and currently it is hard fought all the way around.
So again, we're running the pro track with the hairpin, the 17 turns running counterclockwise. Or I suppose, yes, counterclockwise, excuse me. And again, it's been a big adaptation for a lot of these drivers. Right? It's counterclockwise because we're doing mostly right turns. No, it's clockwise. I'm sorry. Jackson doesn't know how clocks work. Head down for Blake Martinez right now as he's trying to close that gap to Kaysen Hendrickson. Leads Simonelik right on his tail right now as we work into that first hairpin. Just a little bit further back, Christopher Heinzen trying to work his way into the mix right now. But a very clean, comfortable breakaway for Kaysen Hendrickson. A 2-second gap already with 2.5 minutes to go.
2.5 minutes to go, halftime down here, and as we go through a left turn and to a right turn, going through and around, and I'm going to give Jackson a break because Jackson woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be on commentary. So everyone give him a break here.
4:30, but who's counting?
He needs another pumpkin spice latte. Well, fair enough. Anyways, going through and along, continuing the battles all the way through. Top two, spread out by over 3 seconds now and continuing to open up Simon Ellick is closing in on Martinez a little bit here, trying to get that battle for P2 started up, is right there in the mix. You see the helmet tuck, trying to find that little bit of pace that can be found in these mini micros as we go down, but then having to back out of it a little bit there for the hairpin to make sure making the corner happens and doesn't want to overdrive it into the hairpins coming through and around down the final couple of corners. And Simon Ellick is closing that gap to Martinez. So we'll see that battle probably bubble up here once we get the 2 to go signal.
3.8 seconds the gap now. Hendrickson to Martinez. And Simon Ellick is right there. Through the hairpin exit, absolutely paramount on that hairpin to maximize that straight. Use that exit as a launch pad to give yourself that opportunity to overtake and give yourself as good of run as possible into that tower hairpin. And Simon Ellick continues to keep Martinez honest. No battles between these two just yet. Not too much experimentation from Simon Ellick. And again, the thing I've always heard from coaching, don't make expensive moves. Yes, there's 45 seconds on the clock, but you've still got twin sticks after this, 2 whole laps to make your move. And right now, you're really not getting a lot of gains to try and put a move, even if you've got the pace, because you've got Heinzen right back there. You're wasting both your time and the guy in front of you's time. And if you're not careful and get that move done quickly and efficiently, you're pretty quickly going to make that a 3-kart battle.
Yeah, it's very much a 6 one way, half the dozen the other when you try to look for this going through. But I do think that it's going to be one of those that you're in the heats too. So I think there is maybe the consideration from the drivers of, we have the finals after this. Do I necessarily need to do anything unnecessary right now? And
right.
Wait a minute. We're in micros and minis. I'm going to redact my statement here. This is going to be one of those that if Simon Ellick can find a move, Simon Ellick is going to make the move. But finding the move is the harder part here, I would argue, in the mini micros as they go along here. Pace is very, very spread out, though, at the moment, I will say, between the rest of the minis and between Case and Hendrickson. Case and Hendrickson, 45 fours, while the other 3... Oh, good battles happening now. I said if there was a move, Simon Ellick would make it into the hairpin. We go coming through, and Simon Ellick makes it stick. Good move there, Simon Ellick up into P2.
Makes it stick as the twin sticks come out. And now for the first time, Wyatt in the 187 has to defend from Blake Martinez. We'll see how well he fares with 2 laps to go, but he's already taken off comfortably with a 4 or 5 kart length advantage heading into that first hairpin. Watch the draft effect here. How can Martinez close that gap heading into Daytona? There's Hendrickson just exiting the tower complex, and here comes your second and third drivers. Is that duo going to accordion up? Yes, they are. Martinez in the blue suit and the white helmet still right there in chase. And Hendrickson coming through the dogleg, going to see the white flag this time by. But the battle for who will join him on the front row is very much on.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting to watch here because there is this one final lap to try to make something stick here. I don't think Heinzen is going to be able to play catch up here as we go along through. Look at the big run through the right-hander towards Daytona. We go the banked corner that is infamous here at K1 as we go through, and they have such a gap back to each other, but also up to Hendrickson. Hendrickson here has shown dominant pace, is continuing to set fastest laps, and nobody has been able to challenge. Case and Hendrickson is going to bring it across to win the mini micro heat in the mini class. P2 and P3, how will they stack up? At the moment, it is Liat Simonellic over Blake Martinez, and they will cross the line as they sit. Christopher Heinzen, 4th place back. And then between Diesel Maxwell and Patrick McNeely, it is going to be Diesel over Patrick for your micro category. The 6 karts taking on those 5 minutes and having a great battle going through. Next, karts to take the track here for their 5 minutes plus 2 laps will be the 206 mediums. And this is how they will take the track. Braden Heber in first with Levi Wilbur in second. Evan McCorkindale P3, Derek Cutshaw in P4. Nicholas Knotzman will try to tie the knot from P5, and Nick Denny. Will he find his way up from P6? Gage Justinano in P7, Andrew Goldman P8, and Reed Esslinger, can he sling it forward from P9? We'll see how that number 29 plated kart goes.
One of the larger 206 groups we've got here out on track. Going to be very fun to see what Braden Heber can do after a dominant morning in the 206 lights. Jumps out and tries to go back-to-back and sweep this Saturday. Not if Levi Wilbur has anything to say about it. He was the main adversary in that fight earlier on. So too was Evan McCorkindale in that mix. So going to be very fun to see how these guys are going to stack up. Again, Braden Heber dominating this championship for the time being, trying to give himself more cushion with 3 rounds to go after this weekend.
This is going to be an exciting one to see how it plays out here as we go through on our formation lap and continue along. I think this is going to be one of the wildest race starts we see. Of course, if you joined us this morning for 206 Lights, you saw what Braden Heber had to contend with there. So that blue kart with that yellow helmet there on the right-hand side of the grid. We'll see how he holds along. Coming through the banking of Daytona we go, and they are formed up. They are ready to race these 9 karts, taking on 5 minutes plus 2 laps as they cross the line. They'll head down the back straight here. A little bit of last second swerving, a little bit of tire warm-up still being done. Everybody will get their way through. Coming towards the tram lines, they're looking for the green flag. Will they get the green flag? Wait for it. Wait for it. And we're green here for 206 Senior Medium Heat. Down the inside, Braden Heber does a great job. We got dives in the back end going 3 wide through as they come around and through. Braden Heber's able to hold on. We've got one kart that has to take off to the escape road on the side.
Does the lawn work to get back on, as I'm trying to get a plate number there that looks to be, I want to say that's Knotzman there in the 573. But out in front, we are clean and green throughout the remainder of the field. It was Knotzman who had to do the lawn work there to get it done. Clean breakaway here for the top 3, but it is fight on for Heber, McCorkindale, and Wilbur. Expect anything different?
No. Going to be a good battle through, though. I would say just keep your eyes on this one as it goes here. That blue helmet, that yellow kart, McCorkindale is going to have a good fight here with Heber. And let's see how that plays out as they go through, coming out of the final hairpins down towards the main straight we go. And this is where I think McCorkindale is going to make the charge early. I don't think McCorkindale is going to wait at all for this battle. Let's see here as McCorkindale goes through the infield section, following Heber with Wilbur right behind. I think Cutshaw and Denny will also catch up to these 3 as they're sort of limiting each other's pace as they continue to battle along. Down the back stretch they go here up towards Daytona. Yet again, we head through, and let's see what happens here as they head down. This is going to be such a hard-fought battle between these top 3 to the end. Down towards the first turn, a little bit of a peak here from Wilbur. Doesn't make a move into the hairpin, into the first hairpin. Second hairpin sits behind as well.
No notable movers so far. Levi Wilbur losing a spot at the launch. He's in 30s, trying to get that position back with a little bit of a peek to the inside of McCorkindale coming out of the dogleg. He has that momentum. He goes through. They're side by side, but the script flips, and McCorkindale gets back to the inside. He's able to defend for the time being, but he's let him know that he's right there, and he wants that spot back just a little bit further back. Just coming into your picture now at the apex. Danny putting the pressure on Derek Cutshaw. That's the battle for 4th and 5th. And if those 2 works guys out in front keep battling, it could very quickly become a 5-car freight train for the lead.
This is going to be such an exciting battle to watch here. And if it turns into a 5-car freight train. I just want to let you know that it is going to be absolutely insane. Let's wait and see what happens here as they go through, though, because I can already tell you right now that that 5 cart battle is coming sooner rather than later as they continue along here. Through the infield section they go. McCorkindale still trying to make a run here and still trying to find a way through and past Heber. Heber there, blue cart, yellow helmet, and inverse colors on McCorkindale. Yellow cart with a blue-green-ish helmet. I might get yelled at later about what color McCorkindale's helmet is, but yeah, we'll figure that one out as we go through. P3 Wilbur has lost a little bit of a gap there going through, and as they come through the hairpin, Cutshaw Denny right bumper to bumper. Everybody's still settling in. 1:40 left to go in this run as they come towards the start finish line. This is there's a tension. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a tension that I can feel that this heat is going to go one of two ways. Continuing along here down the backstretch, heading towards the hairpins out of Daytona. Again, we go and just trying to find that move right now. A little bit of closing in. McCorkindale has done on Heber here and is going to try to make this pass stick. When he does it, looks over the right shoulder. He's looking for where Wilbur is. Does he have any help? No, he doesn't. So it's all about getting right to the back of Heber, outpacing Heber, getting through here. We will have 3 to go this time by. They cross the line with just about 40 seconds left, and it's a 47-second lap. And believe it or not, fastest card on track right now, Evan McCorkindale by 2/10 that last lap. Coming through the hairpin this time by, we go, and let's see, McCorkindale still closing the gap here. Wilbur not able to close. We will get 2 to go this time by, and it does look like here that McCorkindale trying to make the move stick here when he does it. He's trying to be calculated about it and not just go
Watch
for
further
a
back
move.
as
Right
well,
now, he's
Cutshaw and Denny.
right on the rear bumper.
Watch further back as Cutshaw and Denny continue to go at it for 4th and 5th, but Heber right there with McCorkindale tucked into the rear bumper. A little bit of a peek to the inside. Is he going to make it stick? Has the momentum as they work into the tower hairpin, and it looks like he's able to get that move done. McCorkindale to the point at the very last moment. Can he make it stick, or can Heber throw anything back? It'll be the white flag this time by, and somehow, someway, McCorkindale able to work his way to the point. We'll see if he can do it for one more lap.
1 lap to go here, and I do have a feeling that this is not over here. Heber needs to wind this up quick, though. Sometimes it could take a second as it goes. Let's see where he ends up as he goes through down the inside of the corner, heading towards Daytona. Let's see, Heber trying to wind this up. He's got 1 shot to make this stick if he can, and it's got to go now. Here we go down the inside. McCorkindale to the outside. Can he make it stick? Heber sends it, but McCorkindale will be able to switch it back outside to inside. Can he make it go? He can't. And it does look like Heber can make this one stick out of the final couple of corners. McCorkindale loses the touch there. He led for 1 lap, but it's the last lap that counts. Seeing the checkered flag here on the 206 medium heat, Braden Heber will bring it across the line and go through. McCorkindale P2, Wilbur 3rd, Cutshaw P4.
Still a Viking drive there from Evan McCorkindale trying to make it stick, but I think it was just a little bit of the case of too soon, Junior. That's what we talk about with that timing for mastering that move. And if you're just a little bit too early, it can bite you back and you can give someone that window. And Heber took it. Still a phenomenal drive, though, from all of our drivers in the 206 seniors.
Great runs from everyone here in 206 seniors. They go senior medium as they ran. Next up on the docket here is going to be the 5 minute plus 2 lap heat for 206 Junior. Now, this is going to be one that I have a feeling is going to get pretty spicy as well as it went through then. So let's see what can happen here for the 206 Juniors as they go through. Jordan Lepin, the points leader right now, is going to be starting on P2 with Lucian Laser up in the lead, Maximus Stewart P3, Parker Dunn fourth, Nico Santos, Nolan Wade, Jiju Siva Kumar, Maxon Klebe, Emmett King, Gio Nelson. Currently how your grid is lined up. Let's see here what P1 and P2 in points can do from P2 and P1 on the track respectively. Let's see how this one ends up.
Lucian Laser, first time we've seen him at the point today. And Jordan Lepin going to try and work his way to the front as well. Again, talking about the dynamics between both of these drivers, championship contenders in both directions. Well, we've got some new faces coming into this afternoon. Nico Santos, Parker Dunn, Maximus Seward, Nolan Wade. A lot of new faces we didn't see earlier on this morning. And that can go one way or another. Lucian and Jordan definitely have a little bit more track knowledge of what the limits are going to be here of this layout. But there's a little bit of a mental fatigue there, jumping in and out of the KAs and going into the 206s. You got to kind of do a mental re-switch. Your braking points are different. Your speed at your apexes are so much different, so much slower in the 206s than the KAs. And again, just doing 2 karts a day, that's so much more wear and tear on your body than if you were just doing a single. So double duty, a blessing and a curse. And for the time being, it's been a blessing for your guys on the front row.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting one to watch and see how it plays out for them and for everyone as we go through. Coming out of Daytona, we get formed up into the grid here. And let's see how this plays out as they come down towards the tram lines. Will they get the green flag? It still looks like there's karts in the back trying to get together, but everyone will make their way through. Green flag is out. We're underway for 206 Juniors heats. And it's a great race start there from Lucian Laser as he goes through. Second place as well. Lepin holds on. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Well, that's 3 wide. That's amazing. But everyone makes it through the first hairpins without contact. And as they head down towards the timing line, we get this going and underway. It does look like everyone for the moment holds on. It's Laser, Lepin, Dunn, Santos, Wade, your top 5 as they go. Let's see how this goes for the next 4.5 minutes.
Looks like Siva Kumar almost wanted to make it 3 wide there, going into the dogleg for the first time. Thought smarter of it and didn't want to get in between Wade and Seward, so got off throttle. But we're still very bunched up here as we roll out of Daytona for the first time. Lepin and Laser into the first hairpin here. And are we going to see any variation? We stay nip and tuck for the first time. No experimentation further back. And I was going to say at the start of this race, everyone going fangs out and trying to scuffle was going to give Laser the opportunity to take off, but everyone has immediately closed that gap to your leader before the end of the first lap.
Yeah, you've got 7 karts there, 8 karts even within swinging distance. Top 8 karts within 2.5 seconds of each other here as they go through. Top 5 karts within a second of each other. So plenty of battling to come here over the next 3.5 minutes here in this 206 Junior heat. As they go Laser, you can see helmet down, trying to find a little bit of extra pace if it can be found. Jordan Lepin looking for a move, not able to find it. Parker Dunn in 3rd place there, holding on as well. 4th place of Santos, 5th place of Wade, all really just trying to find their way through. Going around here as it stands, going through. Helmet tucked there from Laser, trying to get up to speed as quickly as possible as they cross the start-finish line here. Going along, I mean, this is anyone's game right now with 3 minutes to go. It takes one wrong move, one small misstep that can absolutely change the nature of this race as they go through the hairpin. Hold on to it here. Top 4 going to be very close. Does anyone go for it into the hairpin out of Daytona?
Starts to become a 2-car breakaway. Lepin made contact with Laser earlier on. And here comes Santos with a look to the outside now of Dunn, but the door gets shut and now tries it again. going inside now, outside, has to get back in line. That drags Wade back into the mix, and that separates it even further. Your top two from third, fourth, and fifth. No move yet from Le Pen.
And no move yet from Lepine to be found, but still right in the stone's throw away. So let's just see how this develops here around this run as we go. Under 2 minutes left to go in the heat, and it's Laser, Lepine done. Your top three. Santos there in fourth, going to be looking to make a move on Parker Dunn, and Santos there peeked out, didn't make the move, peeks back in as they go. They have started to lose touch with the top two as they battled. Now side by side they go, but it does shut the door there for Dunn on Santos. So Dunn able to defend up for P3 beautifully as he goes through. And you can see tucking the helmet there to the steering wheel, trying to get as aerodynamic as possible, trying to accelerate, find whatever pace can be found there in those karts as they go through. Laser, Le Pen, top two, just trying to run away there. Lucian Laser with the bright blue kart. Would love to put that thing on the top of the board.
Starts to become a 4-5 car freight train further back as Sewart and Siva Kumar work into the mix. As we work back into the hairpin here. No move yet from Le Pen, but a big look further back was a peek from Sewart, as now a big lunge from Siva Kumar tries to get two positions at the hairpin, knocks everybody out of line. We're 3 wide, working back onto the main straightaway side by side. Who's going to get to the line first? That was a very costly move there from Siva Kumar to try and make that work. But as we get to the line, it's looking like we'll actually stay in the same order as we ran. Wade, Sewart, and Siva Kumar 5th to 7th.
That was a brave move to try to make, but you had to do something there as it went through. 15 seconds left to go, plus 2 laps. We will get popsicle sticks this time by. 2 to go will be the signal. Look at the bounce going there from Le Pen, trying to find a little bit more time, a little bit more RPM, a little bit more rev out of that 206 engine as he goes through. He's trying to chase down Laser, just trying to get that little bit of extra advantage down the backstretch. Through both hairpins we go, and now this is where things are going to start to get interesting. At what point do you go for the move? Dunn and Santos 3rd and 4th right there with each other, battling as well, and that's the dive from Santos towards the line as they go through. Doesn't make the pass happen. 2 to go, the signal. Now it's crunch time.
These are the opportunities you've been spending the last 5 minutes to give yourself. Le Pen been waiting, studying Laser. Are we going to see a move this time by? Same can be said for Dunn and Santos. It's a 2x2 kind of move into the hairpin for the penultimate time. What are we going to see? A lot of reservation so far, but we've seen some late lunges into this second half, but everyone stays reserved. And just like that, it's become a 4-kart freight train for the lead. This is another key place you could potentially make a move. You can carry enough speed. The draft coming into effect. Are we going to see Le Pen make the move? He peeks to the outside. He'll have to go the long way around if he wants any chance of making it stick. He can't get it done, and now he's worried about Dunn behind him.
Coming into the right-hander here, traditionally known as turn 10, going into Daytona we go. This is where things are going to get interesting, and they have a lap down kart ahead of them coming up as well. That is Nelson. Let's see what Nelson adds to this mix here, going down for the final time. This is where the run has to come up here to the outside. Outside will turn. Oh, and they come together. That is Le Pen and Dunn come together with Nelson, the lap down kart, who was on the outside trying to stay out of the way, but that opens things up for Laser significantly. And now Laser just has to make it to the line here. Santos will be in second place, gifted a second place, I would argue, here in the heats. Coming through across the line we go. Taking the checkered flag is Lucian Laser, and it is Nico Santos who is gifted that second place. Maximus Seward in 3rd. Nolan Wade in 4th. Siva Kumar in 5th. Cleve, Dunn, Jordan Le Pen will finish P8 with Emmett King in 9th and Gio Nelson in 10th place. Dunn and Le Pen, though, what about that?
Just a little bit overambitious, it looked like there for Le Pen, and just the slightest of contact, wheel to wheel. Got that 112 airborne and into Gio Nelson, and that's how you go from 2nd to 8th in the blink of an eye.
And that will give such an uphill battle for the heats to be found, because that is going to be the point where you just went from starting on the second row or possibly a front row to you're starting all the way on the back row or the next to last row. And that is a big, big difference going through. That's a big difference in points as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how that affects many things here as the 206 juniors have that moment through. Next up, it's 206 Legends and Supermasters coming at you here in just a moment, live on Kart Chaser. Taking to the track now is 206 Legends and Supermasters as they go. These are the oldest racers you'll see all weekend. Legends, ages 50 and up. Supermasters, ages 60 and up. Let's see how they run here on the go. This is going to be your starting grid as it stands. J. Brian Williams in P1 with William McLaughlin P2, Danny Cutshaw P3, Travis Wilbur in fourth, Chad King P5, Tom Stevens number 6. From there, it was Chris Whitaker, Joseph Stevens, Wesley Bullock, Donald Ball, and Richard Lemasters, and Clint Stillwell, the 12 karts that will be taking on this 5-minute plus 2-lap heat here for the Legends and Supermasters. You're going to see a lot of different runs here from them than you saw from all the previous classes. There's a little bit more patience to be found here in the Legends Supermasters, a little bit of a different racecraft style to kind of be calculated out as they go through. It's going to be exciting to really watch how these drivers decide they're going to run here as we head towards the starting grid now. And they are lined up 2 by 2. Let's see who is able to bring it out ahead at the end of the 5 minutes plus 2 laps. Waiting for the green flag here to go through as they head down. And it will be green flag. We are underway racing for the 206 Legends Supermasters Heat. 5 minutes plus 2 laps. And it's a fantastic getaway there from J. Brian Williams as he heads towards the line here. Going through, already going around. Danny Cutshaw was able to get past William McLaughlin there early on. Chris Whitaker with the start of all starts, up 5 places very quickly, getting past everyone going through. And as we head towards this right-hander into Daytona for the first time, you can see Chris Whitaker, a kart on a mission, going along as we head down towards the hairpins for the first time here in this Legends Supermasters run going along. And that is so exciting to see here. Battle in 4th place there. That is going to be Wilbur, who is possibly looking to get past McLaughlin and Cutshaw as they go through. You can see Whitaker back there in the background, still putting in some pressure as he sits in P6, trying to get past Chad King there in P5. Crossing the line, everyone does here for the first time, trying to get the karts wound up and going. And Cutshaw is already under some pressure here from William McLaughlin. William McLaughlin looking very quick, trying to get past there, and was faster by about half a second that last lap as they went through. Let's see here where the old idiom, it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, comes into play, because that is very much the truth here as we have a battle developing, going through down the inside. We're going to go. Will this pass stick between McLaughlin and Cutshaw? That it will. McLaughlin able to get it done in the first hairpin, settle up the score, and we'll get ahead up into P2 now to set off in the chase for J. Brian Williams, the Supermaster driver, chasing down the Legends driver for the overall race heat win. And as they continue along here, I got to ask, Jackson, going through Supermasters Legends, arguably William McLaughlin is faster than J. Brian Williams right now.
It's frustrating though, because he's not able to fully break away from Cutshaw and Wilbur right behind. But that clean air in front of the nose is really finding some advantages for him in the 56. We'll see what he's able to do, as now we see a little bit of dicing further back. Wilbur trying to make that move stick in that orange cart on the one of Cutshaw. Has to get back in line though. But back over to McLaughlin. Yeah, fastest man on track right now, a 49-2 even. Back to the stripe, we'll see. Pace goes back to J. Brian Williams now with a 48.866. But it is close between the front two. We'll see if William McLaughlin has any hope of closing that gap.
I also want to keep my eye on Chris Whitaker, up 4 places from the race start. It was up 5 places, but then lost a place there to Tom Stevens, dropped back into P7, so he's going to be one to watch as well. That gap up front, 1.5 seconds currently as it stands, and the 1.5 seconds back from McLaughlin to Wilbur. Wilbur, Cutshaw there, P3, P4. They continue to battle it out as they go, so just keeping an eye on that orange cart of Cutshaw against the blue cart of Wilbur ahead. How will they settle things out as they go through the final corner? Well, right now you can see Cutshaw looking a little bit different there of a line, trying to find a way through, and is going to go for the pass into turn 1 through the inside, hard on the brakes, makes it stick. Cutshaw gets ahead of Wilbur there in for P3. A minute left to go in this heat, plus 2 laps.
Good move there from Cutshaw, but he is not out of the woods yet. And Brian Williams might not be entirely out of the woods himself, because McLaughlin chipping away at that gap and trying to get out of the kind of island he's in right now. Cutshaw holding that lead over Wilbur. We'll see what he can do to fend that position off for the time being. But we've got about 3 laps to go here, with Brian Williams still being the fastest man on track last time by. How's it looking as we come to the stripe for the penultimate time? It's the fastest lap of the session, of the day so far, for William McLaughlin with a 48.973. The pace is there for McLaughlin, Brad, but it's so marginal. It might be too little too late. Yes, he's the fastest, but it's by the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, it's just one of those that if he had a few more minutes, as he will in the final coming up, I think it would be a little bit more. But as of right now, he's just not going to be able to catch up unless there's a major moment from J. Brian Williams for that overall win. But still leading in class by a good margin there. Almost 2 seconds, the margin between McLaughlin and Cutshaw going through as he leads. And it's 4 seconds between J. Brian Williams and Travis Wilbur for the lead as we go through. 2 to go signal, both flags up in the air. So we'll run through this 2 to go very quickly as they hang along and try to just keep touch with J. Brian Williams, who is doing a great run going through, and he was even faster this time than William McLaughlin was last time, 48.527. So J. Brian Williams has taken off whatever lead weight he had and said, I'll be the fastest on track. Don't you worry, guys. I hear you up there in the commentary booth. I'll get faster. It's okay. As we go through and along, William McLaughlin continuing to just hold on second place. So top 4 very much stabilized, top 5 very much stabilized in their position as everyone trying to run here to the end. There is the lap down cart of Clint Stidwell, who is passed there, and that is going to be white flag this time by for Brian Williams.
It's important to mention here, J. Brian Williams is out in the Legends lead right now. William McLaughlin, a Supermasters ahead of Danny Cutshaw, who is a Supermaster. It's Legend, Supermaster, Supermaster, Legend, Legend. Then all Supermasters all the way back to Clint Stillwell in the 68. So it will be a respective class pull for the final, shall we say, for both of these two. But again, that's still a major motivation for the outright win for William McLaughlin. The pace is there. He's just got to refine it and get it ready for that extra 5 minutes coming up in the final. No need, though, to focus on that when you've still got the checkered flag for Brian Williams, who's going to get started from the front alongside William McLaughlin, a super legend and a master on the front row here for our multi-class final.
Great run from them as they go through. Danny Cutshaw, P3, Travis Wilbur, P4, Chad King, Tom Stevens, Joseph Stevens, Chris Whitaker, Donald Ball, Richard LeMasters, Wesley Bullock, and Clint Stillwell. The 12 karts taking on this Legend Supermaster Heat, going through, finishing this out, and they will take it back into the garage, take what they learned, and get ready for the finals here shortly. Coming up, it's KA Senior and Masters, our final heat of the day. 5 minutes plus 2 laps for KA Senior, KA Master, and then we'll take a brief break, and then it's the finals to round out this round 9. Not much racing left, but I tell you what, still plenty of action to be found here on Kart Chaser. We'll have the KA Senior Masters out on track in just a moment. I'm excited. And as the karts get rolling on track here, let's go down the starting grid here for KA Senior Masters. AJ Lund, Dane Van Dyke, the front row. Raider Santos, P3. Lane Gibbs, P4. Elliot Cox, 5th. Macy Gallion, P6. Kevin Simonellic, P7. It's Abram Dean in P8. And then going through in P number 9, it is Joshua Nelson. Apologies, I can't read. Joshua Nelson going through in P number 9, going through as they finish out the rest of their warm-up lap and get ready to bring it through Daytona, double file, and go for their 5-minute heat.
Again, AJ Lund on pole, but that doesn't mean he's got the race pace. Drafting coming into consideration, having a car trimmed out and set up for longer stints, 5-10 minute, longer lap times, longer longevity. These are all obviously excuses that guys like me make in data sessions, but it's true. And we're about to find out where the true pace lies on the race side of things when we get the green flag here in just a couple moments' time. Lund on the outside, Van Dyke on the outside. We're green. It's a great start from Van Dyke, trying to jump the gun, but can't hang on, and we'll have to settle for P2. Couple of shuffles further back. Looks like Cox in the 67 trying to cross over and get an over or under. He's got to get in line. So it will be the same order as they rolled off, it looks like, as we get to the line for the first time. Lund, Van Dyke, Santos, Gibbs, Cox, Galen, Simonellic, Dean, and Nelson, your field.
Everybody with great runs there on the start. All karts staying on track for the start as they go through, heading down towards Daytona for the first time. We go P3, P4 there. Santos, Gibbs, right bumper to bumper as they go. And I have a feeling this is going to result in some sort of a move into the hairpin. Will it be? And it's a very, very late move into the hairpin. Great move going through there. Gibbs ahead of Santos now.
Big trail break there. You could see the back tires locking up and stepping out there for Gibbs, trying to get that move done. And I think it might have been him just going a little bit deeper on the brakes, but he knew he had to make it stick. And he might be feeling a little bit of vibration there after locking those rears up, but we'll see if he's able to keep that momentum going. He's already reached the rear bumper of the 79 of Van Dyke. No one really breaking away. We've got one car broken and in the wall. That looks to be the 24, I think, of Abram Dean. Oh my goodness, the Tony kart totally sailed off into the wall. Let's hope he's okay. But focus back to the front of the field as local yellow, no overtaking allowed. That's a good sized dent there in the plastic barriers on the outside. Hoping we can get an answer to find out what happened there to the 24.
Yeah, that was a big off there for Dean. Not sure what happened there with the Tony Kart, but looks like he is up moving, which is always the good sign here. And that is going to put a little bit of a kink in the battle up front, as that does result in that yellow that they have to be aware of here. Let's see how things go. Lund, Van Dyke, top 2, Gibbs, Santos, top 4 as they run down. There is some run there from Van Dyke and Lund as they look through. They close up. That accordion effect is taking its way through. So I have a feeling that is going to be close as they continue along and battle it out. Down we go. The front stretch. I really am shocked that Dane Van Dyke hasn't been able to make a move on Lund yet. He's been right there several
Oh,
times,
yeah.
but just hasn't been able to make a move that'll stick.
Patience being the ultimate virtue here. But again, you might want to get on your giddy up because you got a hard charging Gibbs in the 944 right behind you. What is the move going to be? I think there's also the knowledge for Van Dyke, knowing that if he drops that move and tries to go offline, you're giving those two guys behind you that opportunity as well. So I think it'll be, for the time being, trying to work with Lund, build that gap to the 2 carts behind if possible. And if not, just try and make that pass for the lead the final 2 laps and hope and pray that the guys behind won't be able to swoop in like vultures and pick up what's left. But they're slowly starting to break away just a little bit further back. Elliott Cox and Macy Galan going at it as well. Fastest lap again last time by. It is Lane Gibbs. He's not giving up that fight just yet. A 42.631 keeps them in contention. Peak to the inside. Here comes Van Dyke, and he's able to shut the door and get back to the point. Maybe no, because Lund is able to hold on. And now Gibbs is able to swing through and take that spot. Nuclear moves and bouncing and seizing the moment here in the top 4.
Amazing moves as we cross the line here and go through. It's just, I mean, hard fought battles, and we still have a minute plus 2 laps to go. This isn't over yet at all. These top 4 continuing to kind of duke it out. They are feeling where the pressure is going to be, where they can apply pressure, where they can make a pass stick here as they go. Van Dyke is going to be looking for the move on Lund. Let's see, down the inside, we're going to go into the hairpin and is going to be able to make it through. Switchback coming around. Can we get the switchback through? And is that going to give the lead back? It certainly looks like it will, and it does. AJ Lund able to get the pass done and get back ahead of Van Dyke going through. Gibbs in 3rd and 4th place. Santos going through, just sort of sitting behind saying, you know what, I'll wait a second. I'll watch and see how this is going to go, because this is going to go one of 2 ways. And, well, if it goes the way I think it will, I'll be in a great position to have the lead.
The doghouse in the top 4. What is Santos going to be like in this mix? I think if anything, he's going to be the one that gets the shortest end of the stick. He knows if he tries to take P3 from Santos, it'll instantly split it up into 2 and 2. Once again, he's at the mercy of everybody else making these moves and making mistakes. A little bit of a peek to the inside there from Gibbs, taking a shallower exit, but we'll get the twin sticks this time by, and it becomes a 3-cart breakaway. Santos on the back foot, not within striking distance at the end as we work our way into the inner loop. A little bit of line alteration there from Van Dyke, a little bit of a peek to the inside through the S's, but as we work into the hairpin, launch is going to be paramount. On to Daytona. No striking chance for Gibbs just yet. Van Dyke has made this move 2 times now. Are we going to see it time at number 3? Another peek to the inside, but gets back in line. Lund ducking his head, trying to maximize that straight line speed. Here comes Van Dyke down low, tries to shut the door and comes to the outside, shuts it down. Here comes Gibbs, though. Had a peek to the inside, and with the white flag, now is right at the mix. Anyone's guess for who this podium is going to be. And Van Dyke losing that spot, still side by side. Lund down low. It's 2 by 2 as we work our way through the inner loop and onto the hairpin for the final time. This is incredible racing. Gibbs now in 2nd. He'll go along the outside and secures that P2 spot. Can he go all the way? The man that rolled off in P4. Our guess is as good as yours. A run into the hairpin for the final time. Watch Gibbs as he goes all the way back, tries to make the long way around work. Another lunge down low for Lund. Everyone trying to jostle for positions, but Van Dyke has the breakaway. What a phenomenal drive. Dane Van Dyke at the last minute doesn't crack under pressure. and is able to get that move done and start on pole for the KA Senior Finals. Gibbs salvages second, and Santos, who led for so long, dropped down to P3. AJ Lund, your winner.
Well, that was a wild final 2 laps. I think that's the best way to summarize that, because that was impressive. Wow. Elliot Cox, P5, Macy Gallion, P6, Joshua Nelson, P7, Kevin Simonelik, and Abram Dean. We saw his cart off. We'll see if we can get some info behind the scenes on what happened there for the KA Senior Master Run. That's going to wrap up the heats. We're going to take a quick break here and catch our breath from that. And when we come back, it's the finals. It's the finals of this round 9 of this afternoon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Kart Chaser.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got?
Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute.
I just love shopping.
I love shopping too.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to?
No idea.
But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal.
Sure does.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your Kart Chaser live feed will resume shortly.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Hey, what's up, Caleb?
What's up, Brandon?
You sound defeated. A long day at the office?
Yeah, got stuck at a cat food marketing meeting for like 3 hours. I don't know a thing about cat food, and I don't even work in marketing. And then I got sent on a coffee run like I was some sort of intern. Then at the end of the day, when I want to go get gas, I just realized everything is so darn expensive nowadays, man.
Yeah, you got that right.
Like, do you have any idea how much we're spending on Netflix?
It's like $20 a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like $50 a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all of the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion, Paulie Massimino. Kart rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
The K1 Circuit Semi-Pro League. This is a competitive race series with 2 classes. Junior Series for those who are under the age of 18, and the Senior Series for those who are 18 or older. If you think you have what it takes, come out and prove your skills on League Night. Both schedules are live on the K1 Circuit website. Your kart chase
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in. This is round number 9 of the K1 Circuit Indy Karting Challenge here live in Whiteland, Indiana. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. It's a good day to be watching go-karts go around a track. My name is Brad. I'm joined in the booth here by Jackson Lambros. Jackson, sir, it is the final set of finals for the day. So it's the final here of the final day of the one day that we have here running. So with that being said, the heats were a banger. This afternoon session has been something else.
It's going to be fun to watch. I mean, if KA Senior and 206 Legends were any sign of what this could be, we're going to be losing our voice by the end of the day. But it's been some really good showing so far, and we're getting double the time plus 2 more laps. And when we're running you guys all the way to the end here for KA Seniors and Masters, which will be the final of the day. And we'll step aside here for the playing of the national anthem, and we'll get things started here for the main events with mini and micro multi-class action. Stay with us here from Whiteland.
ladies and gentlemen, carts are fired up and getting on track, and it's time for the mini micro final, the first final here of the finals of the day. It's going to be 10 minutes plus 2 laps coming your way, and this is how this stacks up. It's Kason Hendrickson up on front with Leah Simonellik in P2. Blake Martinez will find P3 with Christopher Heinzen. We'll see if Heinzen can catch up and from P4 to the front. Diesel Maxwell, 5th place, and Patrick McNeely will find P6 here as they get going for the final. It's a beautiful day here to finish out this karting run of the afternoon here of round number 9. Again, round number 10 is not tomorrow. Round number 10 will be coming in October.
Race and Case and Hendrickson on the pole in that number 2. Fell earlier on in the 206 cadets to Blake Martinez and Light Simonellik. Are we going to see a change in that? Again, battle further back. Diesel Maxwell and Patrick McNeely. That will be the 2 teammates dueling it out in the micros. But it is going to be all things out here in the minis. And if we have seen any indication of what this is going to be, should be an absolute banger. Looks like one kart really in a hurry there to get in and get in line. The last thing we want is another warm-up lap. These guys have been awesome. No extra warm-up laps, no added time, and we'll keep it that way. Green flag for the first final of the afternoon, the minis and micros. Good start for the inside Maxwell, trying to get that move into P2. Can't get it past Martinez, and very quickly, we go into the conga line, heading out of the hairpins for the first time.
Heading out of the hairpins, heading down towards the front stretch we go. They'll cross the timing line. This will give us an idea of where things are right now. Simonellik all the way up into P2 with a great run there on the race start, going through McNeely and Maxwell swapping places back in the battle for micro. But in mini, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 as they come, going through down around towards Daytona for the first time here. And the gap starting to open up, but watch that green helmet of Simonellik. Simonellik's going to be looking to close that gap here early. Plenty of time left, though. 9 minutes to go. Again, the longest race of the day. You kind of have to pace yourself a little bit and just be prepared for anything to happen. Do you push it really hard in the beginning? Do you kind of breathe and pace yourself a little bit in the beginning? That's the question. But of course, there's no more racing for the weekend. So if you're going to give it all, you might as well give it all in the final. And coming out of Daytona, they go here, heading down towards the hairpins, and that gap opening up. Hendrickson to Simonellik, almost a second as they go P3 there of Martinez, still trying to find through. 4th place of Heinzen, holding on as well as they go along. And McNeely and Maxwell in the back in the battle for micro. They continue to battle their way through as well, but it's truly a battle for P3 on track right now, as 1st place Hendrickson and Simonellik in 2nd have taken off as they go through. Martinez, Heinzen trying to battle it through. Maxwell, McNeely battling it out here in the battle for micros. The only 2 micros on track and their teammates, so they're going to race pretty hard.
Watch further back here as Martinez and Heinzen go at it for 3rd and 4th. That's the battle for your mini podium. Not quite within striking distance yet is Heinzen, but you can see that gap close once we get on the anchors. Been a solid day so far for Martinez. Already stood on the podium for the 206 cadets. He's trying to run it back, but Christopher Heinzen, no hardware for him today just yet. He's trying to change that.
Any sort of hardware would be good hardware for Heinzen here. If Heinzen can get up into P3, definitely looks possible with 7 minutes to go. It's just a matter of getting that pass done and then making it stick. That's the harder challenge. And one thing I will say that could be a harder challenge here, the wind has picked up quite a bit compared to what we saw this morning. This morning it was nice, cool, calm, no wind at all, and it looks like the wind has definitely kicked itself up here. Wind gust of 12 miles an hour currently where it sits here. Correction, make that 14 miles an hour wind gust with a consistent wind of about 8 miles an hour. 69 degrees, feels like 69 degrees out here in Whiteland, Indiana as they go. So That is, again, just picture perfect weather. You couldn't ask for better weather for a karting day, but that is what we have. Only issue is the wind, which can affect you a little bit in the kart, a little bit more than you would think going through. Not as much surface area on a kart as, say, maybe a car, but you still feel that wind, especially because it's blowing right here. It's blowing towards turn 10 here. It's blowing basically across Daytona. So it is going to be something you feel a little bit because it's going to blow you a little bit of a weird way that you wouldn't expect.
I think if anything, you just got to realize how much that affects the draft effect because, again, the faster you go, the bigger of a difference being tucked in behind someone has. And with that, you're getting an extra 14 miles an hour of difference potentially. So for the guy leading the front of that, you're getting so much more headwind, and that's going to hurt your top end speed-wise massively. So this is great news for Heinzen, who's maximizing that. He's using it to keep Martinez honest for the time being. But Hendrickson, no pressure further back, 2.4 seconds. Certainly out of striking distance right now for Simon Ellick. That hasn't kept him from trying, though. He's putting his head down, trying to close that gap. But the teamwork right now from Martinez and Heinzen, they're slowly working their way up to P2. Also, really quickly, off camera, we missed this. Diesel Maxwell in the 141 taking that micro lead back from Patrick McNeely. They're still fairly close to one another, about half a second. The gap, as you can see them there on the right-hand side of your screen, just going by at the bottom of your picture. So that's another battle we'll need to keep our eyes on. But outside of that, just up the road, closest one remains Martinez versus Heinzen.
Yeah, that Martinez-Heinzen battle is going to be exciting to watch. We've officially crossed halftime distance, so 5 minutes plus 2 laps remain here, but you can see Hendrickson, that is what a 3-second gap in karting looks like when you open one up, is it's just a runaway going through. There's Simonellic, there's Martinez, and that is what the top 3 look like there. 4th place there, as big slide there from Martinez, an error into the first hairpin. That's going to let Heinzen play the game and start to close up a bit there. Will that let Heinzen find more of an opportunity to pass? It's hard to say, but the answer right now is a resounding no as they go through Martinez, Heinzen holding on P3, P4 where they're at.
That's Martinez starting to show the cards just a little bit, and we're starting to realize just how much he's overdriving that car to keep Heinzen at bay. And that's a huge, huge satisfaction there for Heinzen because he knows how hard the guy in front of him is working. A little bit of a serpentine there coming out of Daytona as he tries to break the toe from the 757. And I'm not sure if that's placebo or not, but it's certainly feeling like these two are just slowly but surely getting closer to Simon Ellick.
Let's see here as they cross the line. Is that placebo or is it true? Gap opened a little bit actually that time through. It feels like they are getting closer though for some reason, but I don't know if that's just because the gap from Hendrickson to Simonellic is stretching still. That gap is continuing to open up. It's almost 4 seconds now between the leader of Kason Hendrickson and Lee Simonellic in P2. So that is a considerable margin to find. And then I don't know what it is, but it does feel like for a minute they were gaining, but now they're not. 3 minutes to go here as they go through the hairpins, and let's see what they can find here as this field has spread out pretty considerably going through. And the thing is, when fields spread out like this, it makes drivers start to get a little bit relaxed. And sometimes what you don't want is to get too relaxed, because if you do so, it causes mistakes, and the mistakes compress everything right back up. So with 2.5 minutes to go, if you're up front and you're Hendrickson, you need to keep hitting those picture perfect laps time and time again, which sometimes is easier said than done.
Hendrickson out in his own zip code, and even further back now, Simon Nellick, Martinez, and Heinzen starting to dilute as well. Same can be said for Diesel Maxwell, who has taken that lead back from Patrick McNeely. Touched on that earlier. But that gap has spread significantly as well. About a 4-second gap right now between the two micros. So a lot of guys, you got to ask yourself, Brad, where we're at right now on track. Are we saving something for the end, or have we already ran out of juice and we're just trying to save what's left on these tires? Hard for us to tell.
I almost think, again, given the age group of this class, this is our youngest class on circuit right now. Youngest classes on circuit that go through. And again, if you're unfamiliar, if this might be your first time seeing them, first of all, thank you all for joining us. Second, this is 7 to 10-year-olds in micro and 8 to 12-year-olds in mini. So this is our youngest class going through. And when you are at that age, sometimes this hard, aggressive driving for a final for the full 10 minutes plus 2 laps can be a hard ask sometimes here. Even though we are into the season, it is something that, you know, these drivers have done many a times through the spring and summer, and they've gotten very comfortable with. You got to remember, routines have changed since summer. We've gotten to the point where you're going back to school now. You're doing all of the, you know, fun things that happen in the fall with the start of August, start of September. School is back in session. Work schedules change. You're doing extracurricular activities beyond karting potentially. So things can change for this young class, and that endurance can get a little bit more difficult than, say, maybe the summer when you don't have to worry about school during the week, and then you just get to show up and do it all in karting and then recover. You've done everything through the week that maybe you didn't normally do, and it can add a little bit of a physical boundary that you weren't expecting as we hit 15 seconds to go plus 2 laps.
These kids already do so much outside of school time, though, to prep, whether it's going straight from school to the track to do testing. A lot of these kids have force feedback wheels and simulators at home to try and prep themselves for national and even regional level weekends. Over the track time you already have done during the weekends, analyzing data, analyzing your race footage, and finding every way you can improve. Because if you're not trying to find time to improve on track, you got to find every way you can do it and improve off of it. So twin sticks are out, and Hendrickson clearly has been doing his homework. 7.3 seconds over Light Simonelik and Blake Martinez.
Look at how many GoPros are on go-karts nowadays. Pretty much every karter runs that is doing this at anything more than just a for fun level, which is pretty much all of them, I'll say. They have a GoPro, at least one GoPro, if not multiple GoPros on their karts, and they will watch those after races and analyze that footage and try to get an idea of what they need to do different for the next run on track. That is where this is at. This is where the level of competition in karting has gotten, is that you don't just show up, race, learn. You are analyzing, you're watching the footage, you're doing all of the things, competing even at this young level. Half a lap left to go for Hendrickson. He's doing amazing here. Gap 7.7 seconds right now to Simonelik. That is a huge gap that Hendrickson has made possible just from consistency. Lap after lap, Hendrickson is going to come through the final 2 corners here, and it is nothing to fear but fear itself. Hendrickson already pumping the fist, knows there's nothing behind, and Hendrickson is going to cross the line here and will win here in the Micro Mini Final in the Indy Karting Challenge here at the K1 Circuit. Coming across second place is Liat Simonelik, and that gap is going to be considerable. 0.7 seconds as they go through. Blake Martinez will find P3, and Christopher Heinzen brings it across P4. And now we give it a few seconds for Diesel Maxwell to come across the line there and pick up a win in the 141 with Patrick McNeely, the other Micro Swift, coming through now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of our finals through for the afternoon. Micro Minis putting on a great show. And up next, it is going to be the 206 mediums here in just a moment. All right, now kicking things off, 206 senior medium finals here. Braden Heber is going to kick us off on pole with Evan McCorkindale P2. This was a show of a heat. So if you missed that, you missed out on a good one, but I can already tell you the final is going to do exactly what the heat did. Braden Heber, Evan McCorkindale P1, P2, Levi Wilbur, Derek Cutshaw P3, 4, Nick Denny, Gage Justinano in P5, 6, Knotzman, Goldman, Esslinger, the top 9 here as they go. I gotta say here, Jackson, this might be, I think they're all anticipated, but I'm really anticipating how this is gonna go.
I'm watching for sure what Nick Knotzman and Reed Esslinger can do from the back there. We're hiding a little bit of pace, but it's going to be all eyes on the heavy hitters on this front row. Braden Heber, Evan McCorkindale, both looking to snap their streak and get back on the win. Heber looking for his second win of the day, and the first for McCorkindale. Lee Wilbur also looking from the shadows for an opportunity. Derek Cutshaw and Nick Denny had a phenomenal battle for the best of the rest outside the podium. Who will be on top further back? Can Levi Wilbur finally trump the two in front of them? Will we see a new winner? Let's find out. Let's go racing in the 206 medium final. Good start for the inside row. McCorkindale losing a spot. He's back in third, and now there's a challenge for the lead as Heber's almost up into the grass on the outside. Still 2x2 a little bit further back, but McCorkindale going to take him to the point. 2 spots losses. I believe that's Cutshaw getting through. Knotzman, Goldman, and Esslinger scrapping further back.
Well, that was a great start going through. Levi Wilbur up 2 places here to the front. Braden Heber down 2 places respectively. Things mixed up all the way through. And now the battles truly begin as we go through 9.5 minutes, 30 seconds down already, and we haven't even completed full lap as we go through and around. Let's see how this plays out here. Heber, easy to spot there. Yellow helmet, blue cart in P3, getting a great push there from Denny in 4th. Up front, Wilbur, McCorkindale side by side, down into the hairpin they go. It is the sin from McCorkindale. The yellow cart with the blue-green helmet makes his way through on Wilbur, and now we'll hold on there. Braden Heber up in P3 now has his first mission, which is to get past Wilbur, coming through across to the start-finish line. Goes long, and it looks like is gonna sit behind for the moment, not go for the pass as we head through the infield section, going along top 7, separated by a whole lot of nothing, you have to say, and they are in a mix where anything happens between those top 3, anyone can take advantage.
You saw Heber think about it on that left-handed hairpin, tried to hang it low and dive to the inside, thought smarter of it. This time he might make that move though. Peeks to the inside of Levi Wilbur, way down low, but gets back in line. This is where he thought about that move. He stays in line once again, but you can throw a blanket over the top 6 cars. McCorkindale, Wilbur, Heber, Denny, and Knotzman all in this mix, and it won't take much for Cutshaw and Gage Justinino to get in this fight as well. Nobody breaking away just yet, but it definitely looks like Heber is helping with the push. A little bit of a nudge combined with the purple lap. He's helping McCorkindale and Wilbur break away, and he's looking to the inside of the hairpin here. Haven't seen a move here yet. He's trying the long way around. This opens the door for Denny to potentially make a move. He can't get there with the momentum, and he has to get back in line. That was an expensive move for Braden Heber. Look at how much McCorkindale has already broken away. Now Heber trying to make it stick on the inside, shuts the door on him, and that'll be a done deal.
Finally making that done deal through up into P2. Now the run begins here as we look for the battle to the lead to start to develop. And it's McCorkindale and Heber, and we know that that is going to be a good battle to watch. Let's see what happens as they go through. Right now, McCorkindale faster than Heber quite a bit there, but that battling was happening. Let's see who comes out fastest cart on track as we continue along here. Down into the right-hander to head towards Daytona, the downhill right-hand run as they go. And let's see through Daytona. Does this gap change any? Does it close? Does it open? Let's see what happens. And it is starting to close a little bit here as Heber gets the run on McCorkindale. Can he get past, though? Top 6 separated by a whole lot of nothing as they come through the hairpins here, heading down towards the front stretch. They go. McCorkindale looking over the shoulder, trying to get an idea where Heber is. And Heber trying to get an idea of how to get past as we go through the start-finish line.
It was Heber able to snatch that win from McCorkadale in the final. He was so used to defending so long for the pre-final, and he does not want to let that happen again. Let Heber sail on by, and it starts to become a little bit more of a two-kart breakaway. How much is this field going to accordion into the tower hairpin? No move, but you can see how big of a push there Heber was giving the 19 of McCorkadale out in front. Same can be said for Denny giving it to Wilbur. Not so much so for Kutshaw Hotzman, but according to Effect, starting to get into play. A little bit of a change in line from Kutshaw further back. Tried to make a move, but Hotzman shut the door on him.
As we go through across the line here, let's kind of reset where these gaps are here, because you can see the top two have pulled away a little bit here as they go. They have opened up about a half-second gap on Wilbur and Denny as they go, and then Kutshaw Knotzman with that little battle for position. They have lost touch with the top four, and we'll see if they can close that back up. P7 of Justin Otto is in the mix as well, so you have to keep in mind that they're there. Let's see what happens. McCorkandale, Heber going through down the back stretch. No look for a move at this time. Heber's going to hold on against McCorkandale and just sit to the back. Doesn't go for the second hairpin move either, and isn't going to go for the 90-degree move. Is going to just settle in for the moment. We've officially hit half race distance. This is the uncharted territory part. 5 minutes down, 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. And you got to wonder, is Heber going to hold on for a minute and just decide to go a little bit further later, go a little bit later and send it a little bit further to try to make it stick? Or is there going to be one of those, as soon as I see a move, I take it?
And the clouds have parted once again, so track conditions going to start to heat up, as well as the kart's heating up on it. So tire management going to become a little bit more paramount. Wilbur looking behind, trying to see what the heck happened to Nick Denny. He's got no pushing help coming into the hairpin, and he's trying to get to the front. He's frustrated, trying to see what happened there. Heber continuing to put the pressure on McCorkadale. But again, this is the unofficial way of, hey, let's take this battle outside. Let's make sure nobody else is here before we throw haymakers at one another. And Heber with another purple lap, fastest lap of the day, a 47.308, is doing a great job right now. A second and a tenth right now. The separation from these two to Wilbur and Denny.
Yeah, great job from these two as they continue along here and keep this battle alive. Heber, closest he's been so far down the backstretch. Let's see, is there a move to be found? No, actually breaking a little early there. You could see the gap open up into the braking zone and kind of opened it a little bit. I think was maybe trying to see if McCorkandale would oversend it for defense, just trying to gauge out how McCorkandale is driving. But right now, I can tell you McCorkandale is driving smooth, is driving consistent, and is just settling in here on the run. Isn't over driving, isn't over analyzing, is just literally hitting the marks, hitting the apexes, going corner by corner, doing just what needs to be done as we continue through and along the infield section now towards the right-hander to go towards Daytona. Keeps this alive for the moment. Heber, it's just a matter of when, not if, at this point, as they come through Daytona.
No defense from McCorkadale. He knows Heber is still trying to push him apart, and he's got about 2 more laps here before that highlighter helmet behind starts to take the gloves off. Starting to get a little bit tight further back. Who is that? I want to say Derek Crenshaw and Nick Knotzman still going at it just a little bit further back on your picture. But no help right now for Levi Wilbur and Nick Denny. They're kind of on an island as Kutshaw and Knotzman continue to go bumper to bumper further back. That Burrell behind the 22. And again, the powder keg is lit. It's just a matter of time before we see the fireworks.
Let's just keep our eyes on it here. Out of Daytona, down the backstretch we go. Again, still looking for something here. And I'm really still shocked Heber hasn't made it. This is the knowledge that is coming from Heber, who is a very strong driver, knowing not to go for a move yet. Just give it time. Let it breathe. You can afford to wait. It's not a case of if gap kart. It's a case of if win. If that made sense. If W-I-N win, W-H-E-N win. When you have to spell, you're saying,
there you go.
It probably doesn't make it as powerful. Anyways, we go through and along.
It's the Indy 500 men. It's that Indy 500 mentality, Brad, of if I'm not going to pass, huge slide there from a Corkadale into the hairpin, but it's about making that overtake and assuring that the guy behind isn't going to have a chance to swing back. That's the exact issue we saw with McCorkadale in the heat. He had a phenomenal move at the tower hairpin, but he did it maybe a couple corners, half a lap early, and Heber was able to get his fangs out and swing on by. So McCorkadale has had plenty of time to defend. He knows how Heber is driving. So again, this is a study session for both of these guys, learning how one guy attacks, how the other has defended. It's almost a carbon flip, a complete flip of what we saw in the final or in the pre-final, because it was Heber leading a good chunk of the time and McCorkadale putting the pressure on from P2. So we're going to see when Heber strikes, and if he does, how McCorkadale will swing back, and what you can only imagine is his limited time. Don't think we're going to be here in time, so I think we'll get a bonus lap here. It'll be twin sticks next time by, and 2 seconds ahead from Wilbur. Heber versus McCorkadale still going at it.
Think about how many times throughout the day, both morning and afternoon, we've seen drivers go for the hairpin and then get switched back. So that definitely has to be on the front of the mind here of everyone as they go. McCorkadale has to know that that's a great defense strategy. Sometimes the best defense is a very strong offense here. And let's see, is this the moment that we see it? We're not 2 to go yet, but they have to know that time is very, very low at this point. So Heber just waiting on that 2 to go signal, I think, to really send things through and, make the move. Let's see here as they come across final corner. They will get the 2 to go signal this time by, and I think this is going to kind of set things off for Heber. This is going to be kind of the indication of, all right, it's go time. Let's get it moving here. As Wilbur comes across third, there's Denny in fourth, and then Cutshaw, Knotsman, they're very close. So those two will be ones to watch as well there in the battle for P5, P6, but the lead is still not decided here, going down towards the right-hander for Daytona.
Prime time. Working out of Daytona. Heber been waiting all race long to make this move. McCorkadale going middle to defend, now back up top. But again, Heber, not a fan of doing it into the tower corner. He likes the left-hander and lunging late when they are not expecting it. He's going to wait one more lap to try and make this move out of the kink. He has the momentum right now working through the right-handed dogleg. Is it enough to get to the point?
White flag out, 1 lap to go. Let's see how this one plays itself out through the infield. Heber is staying very patient here, holding on, and you can see McCorkadale looking over the shoulder now. First time I've seen McCorkadale do that pretty much this entire race, looking over through corners, trying to get an idea of where Heber is behind, what the move is there. Leans through into Daytona, now down the backstretch. This is going to be the one chance. Defensive to the inside goes McCorkadale. Heber will take the outside. Side by side, they're going to go down into the tower, and here we go. Right-hander through, and McCorkadale parks the bus. Heber tries to go wide around the outside. Heber is going to go through. McCorkadale now through. Now he's going to switch it. And can he defend through? And no, Heber will have the run. McCorkadale had to dive back in. Will we have a run to the line? It's not going to be enough. And across the line we go. Checkered flags are out. Heber gets the win over McCorkadale in the end.
Great defense from McCorkadale, but to no avail. Braden Heber only leading 1 lap, and it was the one that counts. Levi Wilbur able to fend off Nick Denny. And actually, Nick Denny getting that position. Looks like Nick Knotsman actually lost that position to Derek Cutshaw at the last minute. So Cutshaw, Knotsman, Justinino, and Goldman rounding out your field. Reed Essinger just getting to the line. What a final, though, for your 206 mediums.
That was amazing run from 206 mediums, as you said, going through. Next up on the docket, we shift it from 206 mediums to 206 juniors. Just hard to believe, just 3 more finals to get through here today, and then this is over for your Saturday. This has been such a great race day as it goes. 206 juniors starting lineup, as you see here: Lucian Laser, Nico Santos, Maximus Seward, Nolan Wade, your top 4. Jiju Sivakumar in P5, Maxon Cleve in P6, Jordan LePen, Parker Dunn. We saw such great battling from Lucian Laser, Nico Santos, Jordan LePen, Parker Dunn, and then, well, we saw it all come unglued. Let's see if the 112 and the 7 can work their way back up front. Emmett King, Gio Nelson, your top 10. Karts are out on track here for 206 Junior. I'm going to ask you the $1 million question, Jackson. Jordan LePen, Parker Dunn, they're starting 4th row. Can they get their way back up front here? I definitely would not be surprised is how I'm going to phrase that one. And we'll just let that ride, interpret as you wish. We'll see how this happens. Coming through Daytona we go, and your starting grid here for the 206 Junior Final comes through. This is going to be exciting to watch. One kart a little bit back, trying to get caught up to the field. Will they still give us the green flag as they come through? Into the tram lines we go, and there is the final kart getting caught up. Looks like everyone's there, ready, and green flag's out. We're underway for 206 Junior. Coming through the infield, great start there from everyone as they get going and continue along. There is somebody backwards, back of the back. I believe that was Nelson, but I'm not 1,000,000% for sure. As they go through, heading towards Daytona for the first time, everyone will get through as Justin rides his scooter through the track, and we watch the karts go down the backstretch.
Very close to one another, Wade and Siva Kumar with a little bit of a peek. Here comes one kart with a big lunge down low. I want to say that is Siva Kumar trying to get it done down low. That checks everybody out. Coming out onto the dogleg. Work onto the main straightaway. Laser with a comfortable gap over Stewart for the time being. But it was Max and Clyde making a really good move there. 1 spot gained over Juju. Siva Kumar, same can be said for Parker Dunn, getting that spot from Jordan LePen. And unfortunately, Jordan, who was trying so hard to work forward, has lost the spot after his start.
So unfortunate to see that there, but all karts out and about, running through still, trying to hold on as best they can. Battle up front, Laser Santos. At the moment, Santos is the faster kart between the two, but again, it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass, so you have to be on your P's and Q's as we see back in the back. Lots of checkups there as everyone's taking a different line through the hairpins, trying to find ways around each other in different forms. Here we go, down the front stretch we go, and across the line. It is of the session here going through, so it's just a matter of time if Santos can work things out right to get past Lucian Laser. But that is, again, easier said than done when you're right on the back of the cart ahead. P3 and 4 also want to make it through. 5, 6, 7, 8. Why is 7 afraid of 8? Because 7, 8, 9 going up the backstretch we go. Laser Santos holding on here, and you can see Laser tucking the helmet. Santos I thought was going to go for a move, doesn't. P3 4 doesn't, but it is going to be Cleve and Siva Kumar that are battling it out. That battle 5, 6, 7, and 8, that is a spicy little battle.
Battle between 6th and 7th going on big time right now. LePen trying to get that move on Siva Kumar, after he's already cleared Peter Dunn, matter of fact, so he's recovered up into P7. You can make that P6 as he's gotten that further back. Max and Clabe dropping significantly as well. Still bumper to bumper, Laser and Santos. Another 2-pack further back. It was a big peek to the inside there from Nolan Wide, trying to get that move from your fastest man on track right now, Maximus Seibert, with a 49.202. That's a 10th up from first and second. If those two keep working with each other, they might be able to close that gap to the front if they can keep that pace up. They'll especially be able to do it if Santos keeps having looks to the inside through the hairpin like this, trying to set up the crossover out of the exit. He gets the side pod there. Can he make it stick through the dogleg, ramping over the curbs? He tries to make it stick. He doesn't have the momentum.
Momentum is not there, but it doesn't mean it can't come his way. Let's see what happens here as we continue through. I'm watching that P3-4 battle so close. Seward and Wade are. If they can make the passes stick is the bigger question, and that is where honestly the Powerball would be great to play right now, because the way I see it, I'd probably be a billionaire right about now. So let's see how it goes here as they head through. Santos, Laser, again, still sticking P1, P2. We're still not even at half race distance yet. I do want to remind everyone of that. This is a 10-minute plus 2-lap final as we see Santos go through, looking on Laser, right on the rear bumper of Laser. And let's see here, it's still looking, trying to find a move through, trying to get that front bumper ahead so he could try to get the pass to stick, and was right there.
Snatch P4 from Nolan Wade. I think he might have cleared him. I was going to mention he's already cleared Siva Kumar, and he might have just cleared Nolan Wade in the 99 to the stripe. And it looks like Lapine has 5-4.
Lapine might be a weapon to watch out for, because this is closing in continuously. Lapine needs to get past Seward now, which is doable and is unconventionally done in a position that I wasn't expecting. Now P3 Lapine. Lapine gonna now look for a move here and needs to close up that half-second gap that they've developed on the top two. Laser has started to open up to Santos just a little bit here to try to get away, but again, loses all of the time in the corners. So Lapine now, I mean, this is just came wide open. 4 minutes left to go, plus 2 laps, plenty of time to get this done. Just needs to stay smooth, consistent, close the gap as we go, and Jordan Lapine might be on for the win of the 206 Junior Final if he can play his cards right, as there's a spin up at the front, and I believe that was Santos who spun.
And just like that, Jordan Lapine gets his way up into second. At first, I thought that was lap traffic of Gio Nelson out in front, but a rare mistake from Santos is gonna give this opportunity to Jordan Lapine from P8 to P2. Can he go all the way to the point? Big shuffle further back. Stewart and Wade side by side further back. Now Siva Kumar tries to work his way into the mix. Another phenomenal exit there from Lapine, goes right into the bumper of Laser. He's trying to push his way up to the front and break away from Seward, but that 49 is right there.
Keep your eye on this as they go along and continue through. And apologies to Santos. Santos is still in P2 here. So that was not Santos that spun. That might have actually been Nelson. You might be right. But look at that as they go through wide on the exit there of 10, heading towards Daytona. Now, this 3-kart battle has just broken alive. So even then, Lapine's still on for a race win. 2.5 minutes left to go. Sets things up through the hairpins. Can he go? He's going to go inside here for second. And he does get past Santos. He's got second place. Now he's got to chase down Laser for the lead.
Phenomenal drive. I'm not sure if he fully made that stuck. It was so hard to tell with the glare there. He might have had to back out of it because he didn't fully have the momentum. He did, and now you can see the gap put between him and Santos, a big nudge further back from Seward, and the 49's going to have to help him and push him to get him back into the mix, and that will make it once again a Ford, and can get away with trying to take this lead and get to the point. Are we going to see a move here in the biggest braking zone on the circuit? Not quite yet. Could still hang a dummy down low. Looked like Seward was going to try doing it from P4. Lapine went wide there. He's trying to carry it wide, but in a snap of your fingers, Lapine back into the mix on the bumper of Santos. Here he comes to the inside across the stripe.
and across the stripe, he gets P2 with 1:20 to go on the timer. So this is the moment where if you're Lucian Laser, you look back and you see Jordan Lapine behind you and not Nico Santos, you kind of go, oh, well, this just got interesting because here we go through Daytona. We go Lapine looking for the run, isn't going to wait, is going to go straight for the move down the inside. Lucian Laser looks to the right, is going to have to hold outside to inside, possibly switch back. And no, Lapine, what a great move into the first hairpin, makes it stick. And that is new leader, 8th to 1st. Jordan Lapine, the 112 kart, now needs to hold this lead for 3 laps, which is easier said than done.
A nuclear move from Jordan Lapine, but can he hold it? We've seen some phenomenal driving from Lucian Laser. Will he be able to get that move back? Still 20 seconds and 2 laps to go, and there is a whole freight train behind. Santos, Seward, Wade, and Siva Kumar are right there waiting to pounce. Everybody going to the right side of the racetrack, trying to defend, now going back left to maximize that arc in. Laser wide. He's trying to hang it down low to lunge. He won't do it. And shockingly, it's been the exit here and the right-handed kink back onto the back straightaway where we've seen a lot of moves. Not a lot of momentum, though, from Laser just yet. He's pushing Lapine. He wants insurance, and as little pressure from Santos further behind. The twin sticks are out, and we've only got 2 more laps before we decide a winner here in 206 Junior.
206 Junior, I tell you what, everybody just wants to give a show this afternoon going through. Let's see how this goes here. Laser looking for a move. Santos looking for a move. Nobody making any moves here. Through the right-hander, heading towards Daytona now. Nobody looking for anything. Down the back straightaway, we're going to go. Lucian Laser looking for a move. Lapine is going to defend the inside. Inside back to outside. Laser sends it up the inside. Gets a great pass there going through, and now is going to send it back through. Defends great on the second hairpin. Lucian Laser coming to the white flag will be your leader. 1 lap to go, and you see Lapine looking for the move there. Santos with a run. Let's see how this one ends. 1 lap to go.
Laser to the point, he didn't carry that momentum all the way to the outside of the racetrack trying to defend, but Laser cannot fully defend Lapine right there to the inside. Santos helping him to push, not able to get there. Little bit of a breakaway now for Laser in that teal blue car. Wheeling and dealing, trying to work their way through. 1 car massively off. That's Siva Kumar. Everybody bunched up. 7 cars in the fight for the lead right now. Last run into the hairpin. Everybody going down low to defend. Lapine trying to make the long way around work. Can't get it there, and will try the crossover. Outside to outside. And Lapine cannot get there. Laser parking the bus. Santos trying to pick up the scraps further behind. Lapine tucked in. Is there enough horsepower in that 206 to get to the point? It's a drag race to the line, side by side. Who's got more ponies? Laser by a nose, able to fend off Jordan Lapine and be your 206 Junior winner for round 9. Incredible stuff.
And what about Nico Santos, Juju Sivakumar, and Nolan Wade crossing the line?
Santos.
That
incredible recovery drive
wild.
for him. Juju Sivakumar picking up the scraps. He was back in 7th at the 5-minute point, and he was slicing and dicing his way through. Some phenomenal drives from the back of the field here, Brad.
Everyone in 206 Junior deserves a round of applause because that was a wild run from everyone there. Outside of your top 5, it was Maximus Stewart, Parker Dunn, Maxon Klebe, Emmett King, Gio Nelson. Your top 10 as they go, your 10 206 Junior as they went on track. We're going to breathe for a second here because that for 206 Junior was wild. We've only got 2 more finals to go here. It's 206 Legends Supermasters and then KA Senior Masters coming up here in just a moment on Kart Chaser for your grassroots coverage here on this Saturday. All right, I've caught enough of my breath here to tell you that that was a wild, wild run here. So let's get ready to go ahead and get the next session together. Legends and Supermasters prepping to go out on track now, and let's see how they go and start their run. It's J. Brian Williams up on front with William McLaughlin P2, Danny Cutshaw third, Travis Wilbur in P4, Chad King P5, Joseph Stevens in 6, Tom Stevens P7, Richard Lemasters. It is Donald Ball P9 and Wesley Bullock in P number 10. They'll get ready to take the track here and go through their full warm-up lap and get things going here. And Jackson, what are we looking for in Legends and Supermasters? We just had a great run from 206 Junior. What do you think these guys took note of from that?
I think it's the importance of momentum, and if you're able to work with one another, everybody can kind of stay in the mix. And again, just to remind you, it's a legend in P1 and a Supermaster in P2. So how these guys are going to interact with one another to kind of battle with the guys in the same class. There can be some good teamwork here between J. Brian Williams and William McLaughlin to kind of be the two guys to break away at this point. So we shall wait and see. But again, looking further back in the grid, Cutshaw, Wilbur, Stevens, King, Whitaker, Ball, Stevens, Stillwell, Lemasters, and Bullock. So that's a legend, 2 Supermasters, a legend, a Supermaster, legend, 3 Supermasters, a legend, and then 2 Supermasters to round out your field. And it has been some really good battling throughout the 206 fields. It's been dominant from the front of your 2 different classes here. J. Brian Williams dominating in the Legends. McLaughlin unstoppable so far in the Supermasters. Can Danny Cutshaw right behind have anything to say about it? What about Travis Wilbur in the back in row 4? Can he get to J. Brian Williams? Let's find out. Let's go racing in 206s for the final time. Green flag for the Legends and the Supermasters, and it's a good breakaway from the inside. It looks like King, or I believe Danny Cutshaw, in that one orange cart, able to get ahead. Look at how quickly some of these guys have been able to break away. Side by side, further back, Lemasters, Whitaker, Ball, and Stevens, but a major fan out up in front.
Great run here from everyone in the beginning, going through, doing what they need to do to get through this 10-minute plus 2-lap final. That is the big goal right now, is to get to the end. Brian Williams, though, running away with it. Cutshaw there in second. Going to try to hold on with McLaughlin there in P3, and that is going to be the big goal, is the endurance run. A pass through Daytona. Hello. That caught me off guard.
That's new.
Going through, I believe that was King and Wilbur who passed through Daytona. I'll double check myself here in just a moment. I just happened to catch it on the corner of my screen as Cutshaw and McLaughlin battle it out through the hairpins. Look at that. Defense one way, defense the other. These guys are racing with the elbows out hard coming through. And you see the signal there from Cutshaw. Cutshaw says, no, back behind me. We need to catch J. Brian Williams up front. And that is going to be just what McLaughlin does. That is the racecraft coming in. That is the knowledge going through. And it was Wilbur and King who passed through Daytona. So, hey, that's something we haven't seen today.
Williams, Cutshaw, McLaughlin, Wilbur, King, but Chris Whitaker able to gain 4 positions in the whole shot. Your biggest mover working up from P11 to P7. Good stuff there for the Supermasters driver, but it is still Williams and Cutshaw out in front. And we've seen a major dethrone here because McLaughlin loses that Supermasters lead to Danny Cutshaw, but it is far from over. Just 2 minutes in and everybody is bunched up.
Yeah, and that bunching up, it's going to accordion effect as we talk about it. It'll bunch, it'll open a little bit, it'll bunch back, and at some point it will absolutely explode as we go through. Lap traffic already coming into play here as we go along down the infield section, and that is going to be all important to see as we go through here. Continue along how that's going to play into things. going through. Everyone continues down the back stretch out of Daytona. Into the hairpins we go. And J. Brian Williams, you can see just absolutely running away. But because in P2, Cutshaw and McLaughlin can't stop battling. They're going to continue to basically just fight each other. And J. Brian Williams on pace alone is just running away. Even if the pace wasn't a second a lap different, they would still be battling with each other, and J. Brian Williams, I think, would still be going through 49 flat last lap, and as they crossed the line, it was a 50-second lap from Danny Cutshaw. So that is the pace difference between P1 and P2 in the field. That is huge.
So Travis Wilbur able to leapfrog William McLaughlin for that bottom spot of the outright podium. That's frustration for McLaughlin, though, because that's a legend guy in between his Supermaster adversary. You can see your leader there of the 3-pack, Cutshaw, working his way into the tower chicane. And then further back, a 2-pack of Chad King and Tom Stevens. That's another legend and Supermaster pairing. So battling for on-track position, yes. Battling for class position, not really. So right now it'll be fangs out for McLaughlin. He's trying to close that gap and get back to P2, or I suppose that lead now in the Supermaster class.
Supermaster lead, all in contention still. I think McLaughlin may be doing the thing that we talked about a lot with our previous heat that we just watched, which is a little bit of patience going a long way here as we set into a 6 junior, and we've said it all day. Actually, I'm not going to say we just said it with the previous couple of heats. We've said it all day. A little bit of patience goes a long bit of a way as we go through. And I think that is what McLaughlin is probably playing right now when it comes to getting past Travis Wilbur and Danny Cutshaw, is just trying to go through, because we're about to hit 5 minutes to go. We're about to hit half time on this race. We'll be half done, half to go, plus 2 laps. So you can afford, again, that little bit of patience can really, really play itself out in the end when you have a little bit more energy than the guy ahead of you to send that kart through and get a pass done.
Travis Wilbur right there on Danny Cutshaw, but man, J. Brian Williams has really got this dialed in. 5 seconds and change. The gap, you can see Cutshaw going a little bit middle there, trying to defend. Leaves a little bit of a door open there for Wilbur, but decides not to take it. And again, in just making little decisions like that, even going that little bit of defense, that opens the door for other guys to close that door. And just like that, McLaughlin in the 5-6, able to bring his way into the mix.
Battles continuing along here as we go. 4.5 minutes left to go here on the penultimate final here of your round 9 of the Indy Karting Challenge here live on Kart Chaser, as we go through, continuing to watch the legends and Supermasters go through the oldest classes that we watch of the day, 50 and up and 60 and up respectively, as they go through. And it's amazing to see them out here racing as hard as they do at that run. Again, these are all last names that if you've been following our coverage all day, you've seen those names in micro and mini. You've seen those names in cadets and sportsmen's. You've seen the names in junior and senior masters, mediums. You've seen a lot of runs here, and that is what I love about these regional events that go through, is that it brings out the family run. And sometimes you just got to show up and show off here as you go through. It's always fun to get the whole family involved here as we go. 3.5 minutes left, going through the final couple, or the right-hander towards Daytona for the I lost my train of thought. Jackson, save me out of this one, please.
Absolutely. Cutshaw defending middle right now as Wilbur is continuing to put the pressure. Just a little bit further back is William McLaughlin. I don't know why I've decided to go with the golf voice here, but we're making it stick. Chad King just a little bit further back right now, defending from Todd Stevens. And this is what happens when you got to wake up at 4:30 and you're on about 4 hours of sleep. My energy is slow, but my spirits are high. Here comes Wilbur with another phenomenal exit here out of the low line. A little bit of a peak right now as they work into the first hairpin. But we'll stay in line as we work into Daytona.
The golf voice. I'm just going to say it. I respect the golf voice. it's a pretty good voice. So yeah, that's
if karting
pretty
never
sweet.
works.
So I know you have an NBC career coming ahead of you if for some reason
There we
Kart
go.
Chaser does not work for you, but I think you're doing pretty okay on Kart Chaser. So let's see how it plays out here. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in this penultimate round of this final here at the Indy Karting Challenge. And well, Brian Williams, I don't know how much more of a gap you really need to pull, buddy, but it's that kind of I call it the Verstappen effect, where when you're so settled into a run and you're going so fast, you don't slow down. You don't want to get out of the rhythm that you've set for going so fast. Because here's the thing, that's when mistakes creep in, that's when errors creep in, and all of a sudden, Brian Williams goes from first to last.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's clearly working really, really well. It might be a little bit harder on the kart mechanically, but the last thing you want to do is potentially hurt whatever run they've got going. Wilbur had a good run there going into the hairpin, but decided to just use it on the bumper for a little bit of insurance against McLaughlin. That gap continuing to grow as the blue flag is out. We'll try and figure out who that's for. Still not entirely sure who we're getting to at this point, but you look at the gap Brian Williams has on this field already. That's not too much of a shocker. McLaughlin still looking a little bit out of line here, trying to find a way around. A little bit of a peek to the inside of the hairpin. We've been seeing in this afternoon session a lot more guys making moves right there where we've got that static cam set up. That's been a little bit of a shocker because you're wasting so much time there. You need a good exit going into Daytona. So it is paramount to get that move done.
It's been so exciting to kind of see the different lines that these drivers have been in on class, and just kind of depending on how they feel, if we're honest. Some of the drivers just feel like making moves somewhere else compared to others, and I've been kind of enjoying it as they go along here. Let's see what happens as they head through here. 20 seconds left to go, and they are following their way through and continuing along. Here we go. Final, I keep calling this the final corner. It's not. There's the blue flag. There's
mechanical
the issue.
issue.
That is Stillwell going around here.
No, I think that might be a mechanical issue. That guy had his hand up, and immediately we've seen him brake. Big lunge to the inside here, as it looks like Wilbur and Cutshaw are going at it. Now, that's for sure Cutshaw in the orange machine, and it's McLaughlin. Travis Wilbur has issues as they navigate out of the final corner, and it is Fangs out, your second place legend car with major issues, and it goes to Cutshaw versus McLaughlin, the two Supermasters going at it. What's happened to Travis Wilbur?
Well, that I did not expect for Travis Wilbur. That has turned this run on its head here. So now Cutshaw and McLaughlin, as you said, the two Supermasters battle it out for the last podium places, and Chad King will get second place for the 206 Legends, and that'll give wow. Okay, that mixes this race up completely as we go along here for the final. Time is over. We come along through, heading down towards the start-finish line we go. 2 to go signal is given here. Now it's just getting to the end for Brian Williams. 11.5 seconds in the lead, looking good. Cutshaw McLaughlin, they've got to settle it up here for P2.
Big freight train further back here. I don't know if this is lap traffic or not. It isn't. Stevens, Wilbur, Whitaker, and LeMasters. Tom Wilbur able to get that cart back to full song. We were 3 wide there coming out of the hairpin, still trying to figure out the who's who in this. I can guarantee to you, I want to say that's Travis Wilbur now leading the rest of them as he goes the long way around. Blue flag is in effect, so one car having to be navigated through, but that is major losses there for Travis Wilbur, who now drops all the way down to 9th. Chad King gets promoted to P2 in the Legends, and this becomes a dogfight for the Supermasters win, and McLaughlin back to the point in front of Danny Cutshaw.
And this is where things get interesting going through, because McLaughlin holding on against Cutshaw as they come through. This is going to get very close, very quick here as we go through the final lap. For Brian Williams, It's 15 seconds the gap. He's had not a problem today going through. J. Brian Williams is going to have just an amazing run here going through the final complex of corners. Nothing to really say about it. And usually if you're in the race lead, if we don't talk about you here in the commentary booth, you've done something very right. And that is the case for Brian Williams today. He's going to come around the final corner. He's going to get the double checkers here, and it is a race win of epic proportions for J. Brian Williams. McLaughlin, Cutshaw, they still need to settle out who's going to finish P2, P3 here as they come across the line. Checkered flags are out, and who? B2 here. Across the line they go, and it is going to be McLaughlin ahead of Cutshaw there by about 3/4 of a second. Chad King, P4. Tom Stevens finishes out your top 5.
Still a great drive for Chris Whitaker, up 4 positions, and we thought it was going to be Danny Cutshaw getting that Supermasters win, but man, Travis Wilbur really throwing us all for a loop, giving that door an opening and letting William McLaughlin in the 56 sail on through. Looks like Travis Wilbur did end up going into the pits 3 laps down. Same can be said for Joseph Stephen, but from 5th back, Stevens, LeMasters, Whitaker, Ball, and Bullock with Stillwell rounding out your top 10. We have one more to go, and it's some KA100 action coming your way. It's the Masters to round things up. The curtain call from Indy when we come back here on Kart Chaser.
And karts are out on track for the final run of the day. This is KA Senior and Masters out together, and this is how they're going to line up. AJ Lund, Lane Gibbs, P1, P2, Raider Santos, P3, Dane Van Dyke, P4, Elliot Cox, 5th, Macy Gallion, and P6, Joshua Nelson, Kevin Simonellic, and Abram Dean. The 9 karts in KA Senior Master that will be taking on the final of this run. It's the final countdown. Do as they go. Thank you for not leaving me alone on that. Most of the time I get left alone, so I appreciate that. But it's the final as we go through. Any predictions for this one? Final 10-minute final plus 2 laps.
I'll say this. Watch Dane Van Dyke from P4. We knew he was very, very strong. Led this pre-final, this heat earlier on, but from the lead got the chrome horn from AJ Lund and fell back significantly. We'll see what he can do from the outside down to the tram lines. And for the final time on Saturday, we're green, and the KA Seniors and Masters are a go for their final. Good start for Lund, but Gibbs able to hang on, trying to make it stick on the inside. That red and orange cart tries the over-under, not able to get it there, and Lund gonna hold on. We're all stacked up here as we work through the dog leg and back to the line.
Everybody working through the first couple of corners here, getting away fairly decently as they can as we go through P3 back. It's a great battle starting to develop here as they find their way along. Let's see how this continues down into the right-hander, heading towards Daytona and the backstretch for the first time here. Everybody gets away fairly well heading through Daytona. Nothing crazy happening. And Lund trying to hold off Gibbs. Santos, Van Dyke, top 4 as they go into the hairpins for the first time on speed. Let's see, nobody able to make any moves. In this accordion effect, it's starting early, things slightly spreading out, but you know they're going to compress again as we continue through this final.
Purple lap to get us started for AJ Lund, 43 even. The time just 100th up from Lane Gibbs, starting to get some dicing further back there between Santos, Van Dyke, and Galen as it starts to break into some 2s and 2s. Lund versus Gibbs, Santos versus Van Dyke, and Galen versus Cox. As there's a little bit of a look to the inside. Good run from Van Dyke, not able to fully make that move stick, working through the hairpins. And been shockingly reserved for them in the 79. We know that there's front-running pace there in that 79 kart, just unable to clear that 936 of Santos. We've said it so many times. Catching a car is one thing, Brad, but getting that move done, that's a whole nother.
That it is, and it's so interesting to see how drivers interpret that, what they do to kind of mitigate that all-important rule as we see 2x2x2 how the field currently runs. Lund, Gibbs, Santos, Van Dyke, Galen, and Cox, your top 6 as they go along here, heading towards the hairpins yet again, going through, and it looks like just, again, trying to do something to make a pass, not able to at the moment. I think just kind of playing that sort of calculated risk of what is worth it right now. And right now with 7.5 minutes left to go, only a quarter of a way through this race, really your most calculated move would be to hold on and don't do anything too crazy yet. And that is exactly what we see here from the top 6 as they go along here and continue through the infield section, heading out towards Daytona.
Again, you got to be so careful. There's a great exit there for Van Dyke. We'll go 2 abreast through Daytona, and I'm not sure if Van Dyke was able to get that move done. He planted and launched on the inside, trying to clear Santos, but it's so hard to tell. 2 white helmets, 2 white karts far away. It's so hard to tell, but they're still going 2 abreast as they come out. No pressure still for Lund from Gibbs, but Santos and Van Dyke continue to go at it. Van Dyke with the purple lap last time by a 42.396. He uses it to clear Raider Santos for P3.
A great job there to get clear through for P3. Now the goal is to move forward and try to go for the top 2. But at this point, you need Santos to be your friend and help you along. And Santos wants P3 just as bad as anything. So here's the question is, what does Santos do? Does Santos help out going for the top 2? Or is Santos going to settle in and battle for P3? It's easier said than done to get them to agree. So let's just watch and wait and see what happens as they continue along. No moves in the hairpin there at the moment, heading out towards the front stretch going through, and still plenty of racing left to go. So I think that's just the patience game coming out.
A little bit further back, Van Dyke and Santos still going at it. It was a great move from Santos trying to defend, but Van Dyke planted on the inside and was able to launch. There's still clearly some great pace in that 936, though. Heck, he just got the fastest lap again last time by a 42.225, and he's using that to put the pressure on Dane Van Dyke. A little bit of a peek to the inside there through the left-handed hairpin. Not quite there. Gibbs continuing to hold Lund at bay, but cannot make a move just yet. We're nearly halfway home here in the last finals of the day.
And as we go through here for the finals, as we continue along, just watching this battle continue to develop here. It's that sort of tense thing that you watch and you just don't know how it's going to end up. You sort of just have to wait and see what happens, because it's gonna, you know it's gonna happen. It's kind of the equivalent of super speedway racing. Right. If you are a NASCAR fan and you watch Daytona or Talladega, you know something's gonna happen somewhere, but it's just that tense sort of, you're waiting, and then all of a sudden everything happens all at once, and then boom, there it is. So that's where we're at in this race. We've hit half race distance. 5 minutes down, 5 minutes to go, and then 2 laps after that, and you can feel things are just there. Van Dyke is trying to close up on Gibbs and Lund and is working through with Santos. They're trying to close it up. They're slowly getting there. Do they have enough time to get all the way up?
It's getting closer, but it only by the narrowest of margins. It was less than 100th that gap got chipped away, and we've got a change at the front. Gibbs with a big lunge tried to take the lead from Santos, but Lund able to plant and launch and immediately takes that 43 back to the point. Back and forth we go, and I'll tell you what, that's a great way to bring others into this mix. Actually, no, because these two have been going at it so much, it's actually widened to 1.6.
That is wild to see here. So just keep your eyes on everything. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. Just these guys have put on a show today. Every single class here at the K1 Circuit has put on a show, and it's amazing to watch. We're not done, though. 3.5 minutes left to go as we go through and head down towards the front stretch. Let's see how this plays out through the final few laps. Now we've hit the point where drivers are not waiting for the best moment and for the final couple of laps. They're just making moves when they can make moves, and that's going to just open everything up here as we go through. Let's watch down the front stretch, out through the infield we go. What do you do now if you're Gibbs? What do you do if you're Lund? What's your plan here? I don't know what your plan is because I don't know what my plan would be. Let's just watch how they go down the backstretch.
If you're both drivers, it's just head down and do everything you can by yourself, if possible. Teamwork is thrown out the window. It's so much harder to do in the KA100 powered karts compared to the Briggs. Locking bumpers is so much harder. You're carrying so much speed. You could accidentally ship someone. The pushback bumpers could come back and bite you, and you're losing performance. More importantly, you're getting a very big penalty coming your way if you're leaning on the chrome horn that much. So you got to be so much more careful doing the pushing, doing the bump drafting. But again, these cars are so much faster. It's hard to even do that in the first place. There's no limiter, though, for Gibbs. So he's able to really, really stretch those legs with the draft out in front. That's how he's able to close that gap. No pressure from Dane Van Dyke, though. It was looking a little bit better further back. I'll tell you what, it dropped to 1.6. He is slowly but surely chipping away at it. It's down to 1.3 now with 2 minutes on the clock. How's it looking this time? 133.32. So starting to stagnate, but if these two up front continue to battle, it'll be easy for Van Dyke to close that gap.
And closing that gap is the goal right now. Let's see how this goes. Through Daytona we go, and right now Gibbs Lund really looking like they're about to basically put on boxing gloves and go in for 5 rounds of the ring. Let's see how they do going through here. 1 minute 20 left to go. Going out of the final couple of corners here. Gap is starting to close, and let's see here. Gibbs is going to be putting some pressure on Lund this time through. Over a minute left to go. So I believe we will have 4 laps to go as they're lapping at 42 seconds. Coming around the line here. Let's see as they head through the infield, heading towards the right-hander before Daytona. Downhill right-hander, gets through it very well. Let's see here out of Daytona. Down the back stretch we go. Look at the helmet tuck from Lund. Lund basically touching the top of the helmet to the center of the steering wheel. But unfortunately, it's not going to do it. Down the inside goes Gibbs. Gibbs is going to make it through. Lund tries to defend outside, tries to switch back, and meanwhile, they do that, and that allows Dane Van Dyke to start closing a bit more as they cross the line here. 30 seconds to go. 3 laps to go this time by, and that is Gibbs getting ahead of Lund, but now the defense for 3 laps begins, and that arguably is the harder part.
Second time was the charm there for Gibbs to get to the point. Carbon copy of the move he tried with about 4.5 minutes to go. And that time, no momentum in the reserves for Lund to try and make that switchback work. And look at how big that gap has already formed between Lund and Gibbs. That clean air on the nose clearly helping that 944 get to the front. But Lund able to plant and launch out of the final hairpin will get the twin sticks this time back. Can Lund make that switchback and give him the Uno reverse card?
he's either going to give him an Uno reverse card or a draw 4, and either way, nobody's ever a friend at the end of an Uno game. So we'll see how this one plays out, going down through turn 10. Right-hander here heading towards Daytona. P1-2. Van Dyke has not been able to close that gap up near enough. I think P3 and P4 might be settled in. It's really going to depend on what these top two do, though. Heading out through the final 2 laps, down through the hairpin we go. And this is where things are going to get very interesting indeed. Closing things up, Lund does a great job on Gibbs here, going through down the front stretch. Final time, white flag out this time by. One more lap of racing for your Saturday events. And this, ladies and gentlemen, if you need to move for any reason, don't do it yet. Through the infield we go. How is this going to end? I tell you what, Jackson, I'm nervous.
Give us 42.16 seconds before you go to the bathroom. That was the time of Lane Gibbs' last lap, and he's going to need to do a monster one last time to defeat the Dynamo. AJ Lund, comfortable three kart gap as we head in to the hairpins for the final time. Are we going to see the sneak move? Yes, we are. Side pod to side pod. They touch. Fangs out driving for Lund, but he gets back to the point. It was too soon, Junior, for Gibbs to make that move. It's a drag race to the line. Who's got more ponies? Nearly a dead heat, but at the line, AJ Lund able to get that position back from Lane Gibbs. What a phenomenal way for us to end this racing on Saturday.
Dane Van Dyke in third, half a second back. I mean, if there had been one more lap, I hate to tell you, Dane Van Dyke would have been the winner, because Dane Van Dyke put the fastest lap of anyone on the final lap of the race. Wow. Raider Santos, P4, Elliot Cox, Macy Gallion, Abram Dean, Joshua Nelson, Kevin Simonelik. The 9 karts in KA Senior Master to end off a wild Saturday here, Jackson. Any final thoughts?
That's a pretty dang good way to end day of racing. I'll say that. I'll say what, we're about to wrap up here, but we are not done by any means this week. This weekend is all wrapped up for us at Kart Chaser, but we move on to Trackhouse Motorplex this Thursday night, the 11th, for Stars Fight Night at Trackhouse Motorplex. Xander Clements on the call alongside Caleb Viesca and Haley Donaldson in the pits. Couple more events coming your way as well. TSRS next weekend, or excuse me, 2 weekends out. That'll be at NOLA Motorsports Park, as well as the CKNA Grand Nationals. So still a lot of good racing coming your way here in September.
Absolutely. September's not over. Karting's not over here. We've got tons of events to bring you here, but we're going to end the day right now here. So with that being said, on behalf of Jackson, on behalf of Ian, on behalf of everyone here at Kart Chaser, I'm going to go grab a Perico, get a drink. So I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we've taken you start to finish here. Be sure to join us on the next one where we'll take you start to finish yet again. Good night.